Okay, so today we're going to dive into this incredible ancient story, and it's all about how the world was saved, but not by some great king or a mighty warrior. Nope, it was saved by a fish. We're talking about the tale of Matsya, the very first avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu. And you won't believe how it all kicks off with just one tiny, simple choice.
And really, that's the big question this whole story asks. It's wild because the tale doesn't start with some huge disaster or a big battle. It all begins with a really simple, compassionate decision. Just one choice, made by one guy.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off at the very beginning of a new era, and our main character is a man named Manu. Now, in Hindu tradition, Manu is a huge deal. He's basically considered the father of all humanity, a really good and righteous king, and we find him doing his morning prayers by a river.
So Manu's there by the river, and as he cups his hands to get some water, boom, a tiny little fish just swims right into them. But here's the crazy part. This is no ordinary fish. It actually speaks to him. It begs Manu to protect it from all the bigger, scarier fish in the river. And Manu, being the good guy he is, feels for this little creature. So he does this small act of kindness. He scoops it up and puts it in his water jar to keep it safe.
But this is where things get, well, impossible. That simple act of kindness, it triggers something amazing. Literally overnight, the fish grows too big for the jar. So, okay, Manu moves it to a tank. And you guessed it, it outgrows the tank in no time. So he puts it into a river. But this thing just keeps growing and growing. This miraculous growth just doesn't stop. Eventually, even the river isn't big enough. Manu has no other option. He has to take this absolutely massive fish and release it into the ocean.
So you can imagine what Manu was thinking at this point, right? After seeing a fish grow from the size of his hand to bigger than a river, he knows. He knows this is not just some random fish. He's in the presence of something truly divine.
And that's when it happens. The fish, which is now just unimaginably huge, turns to Manu and finally reveals who it really is. This isn't just a fish. It's an avatar of the great god Vishnu, the preserver. And he's there for a reason. He has a terrifying warning for all of humanity.
Okay, so quick context. Who is Vishnu? Well, in the Hindu Trinity, you've got Brahma the creator, Shiva the destroyer, and then there's Vishnu, the preserver. His whole job, his cosmic purpose, is to keep everything in balance, to protect what's called dharma. Think of it as the universal law of what's right and good. And whenever that balance gets seriously messed up, Vishnu comes down to Earth in different forms, we call them avatars, to set things right again.
And believe me, things are about to get seriously messed up. Vishnu tells Manu that a catastrophic flood is coming. Not just any flood, a world-ending deluge. It's going to hit the reset button on creation and wipe everything and everyone out.
This world-ending event has a name, the Pralaya. And you gotta understand, this isn't just a really bad flood. We're talking about a cosmic event, the complete dissolution of the world at the end of an era. The stakes, they literally could not be higher. This is it.
So, the world is about to end. What do? Well, thankfully, Vishnu has a plan, and this is where he gives Manu his divine marching orders.
The mission is absolutely critical. First, Vishnu tells him, build a giant boat, a massive one. On that boat, he needs to gather the seeds of every single plant and a pair of every animal you can think of. Gotta preserve all life, right? But there's one more crucial part. He also has to bring along the Saptarishis. These are the 7 great sages, basically living libraries of all the sacred knowledge and wisdom in the universe.
So Manu gets to work and does exactly what he was told. And then the rains start. The oceans begin to rise. And this is where the scene gets absolutely epic. Matsya, the giant fish avatar, shows up. Manu has to tie his ark to a horn on the fish's head, and what does he use for a rope? Oh, just the mythical serpent king Vasuki. Yeah, a giant living serpent as a rope. Incredible.
So as the entire world is literally drowning under this insane storm, Matsya becomes their guide. For days, for nights, through all of this chaos, this giant fish pulls the ark, protecting everyone and everything inside, all of life, all of wisdom, and it guides them safely to the one place on Earth that's still above water, the very highest peaks of the Himalayas.
Phew, the storm is over. They've made it. Life is saved. But hold on, because surviving the flood, that was only half the battle. There was another, totally different crisis going on at the very same time.
I mean, think about it. What's the point of saving humanity if you lose all the knowledge that makes it worth living? All the wisdom, the culture, the sacred truths. What if all of that was just gone?
So here's what happened. While everyone was focused on the flood, a demon named Hayagriva saw his chance. He snuck up on the creator god Brahma while he was asleep and stole the Vedas. And the Vedas are everything. They're the most sacred texts holding all the foundational knowledge of the universe. So you had two cosmic crises at once, the flood threatening all physical life and this demon threatening all spiritual knowledge.
And this is where you really see why Vishnu is called the preserver. He's multitasking on a cosmic scale. As Matsya, he pulls off a 2-for-1 victory. First, he saves all life by getting Manu's ark to safety. Then, he dives deep into the cosmic ocean, finds that demon Hayagriva, defeats him in battle, and gets the Vedas back. Problem solved.
So the floodwaters are gone, the sacred texts are safe. Vishnu gives the Vedas back to Manu and gives him his final mission. Go repopulate the earth. Start a new cycle of humanity. But this time, build it on the foundation of Dharma, that path of righteousness and cosmic order, using the wisdom that was just saved.
So when you step back and look at this whole amazing story, what's the big takeaway? Because it's way more than just another flood myth, right? It's a really deep story about what it means to preserve and renew.
The legacy of Matsya is just so powerful. First, it tells us that sometimes divine help steps in to save life when all hope seems lost. Second, and this is huge, it shows that saving knowledge is just as important as saving our physical bodies. And finally, it hammers home the idea that a righteous path, living a good life like Manu did, is absolutely essential for guiding humanity forward.
And that leaves us with one last really profound thing to chew on. Think about it. Vishnu is this all-powerful god. He could have shown up as a mighty king, a fierce warrior, anything he wanted. But he didn't. He chose to start as a tiny, vulnerable fish, a fish that needed help. He literally made the salvation of the entire world hinge on one person's simple act of compassion. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If one small act of kindness could kickstart the rescue of the entire world, what kind of power do our own small, everyday choices really have?